You are listening to Audio SSLC, your audio medium for easy understanding and revision. To download a copy of this recording, please visit audiosslc.com. Unit 9, Post-Independent India. In this unit, you learn effects of partition of India, refugees issues, reorganization of states, problem of formation of government, integration of princely states. 1947 August 15 was a day of trouble as well as joy for India. Independence was earned with a lot of sacrifices and difficulties. Partition of the country had also created a lot of problems. Before learning how the government handled this situation, we need to analyze the situation that was created. On the first hand, the partition of the country had created new problems. The country was burned in communal fire. Millions of people from both the countries tried to choose their future in both the countries. It was a great challenge to offer shelter and food to refugees who arrived into country. The number who arrived in India was more than the number that went into Pakistan. Secondly, the integration of princely states into the federal structure of India was a bigger problem. There were 562 princely states in India by then. Most of the states, after showing initial hesitations, agreed to join the Indian federal structure. But Kashmir and Junagadh in north and Hyderabad in south did not agree to join the federal structure easily. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel handled this challenge efficiently and won success. He was successful in protecting the internal security of the nation. He also set in motion the task of attaining national integration. Thirdly, partition had damaged the economic system of India deeply. There was a need to relook into the commerce, industry and trade in order to provide better stability. Because the colonial power that had abused the resources of India for more than 2 centuries, Dadabhai Naoroji has discussed this issue more in his Drain Theory. Fourthly, India had a challenge of creating its own constitution. It had to find its stability under its new constitution and had to emerge as democratic republic. Under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the Constitutional Drafting Committee gave India a draft constitution. This draft constitution was accepted by the Constituent Assembly and gave India a unique constitution. This enabled the strengthening of executive, legislative and judiciary. Fifthly, India had to protect its freedom that was after years of struggle from its enemies. It started strengthening its military forces also. The present military power of India is nowhere inferior to anyone now. We need to look back into the history to know about its beginning. Sixthly, since gender and caste-based discrimination was natural to Indian society, there was a need to strengthen the social fabric to establish social equality. It also had to formulate new foreign policy and make arrangements for financial resources. India successfully faced all these challenges and emerged as the largest democratic country of the world. It is said that people have lost more lives in communal violence than in wars. The clash that takes place on the grounds of religion creates panic in all the societies. Historically, India's experience is not different. India is a country of many religions. It had to become a country of different religions due to numerous invasions of foreign rulers. This diversity was used by the British to create divide and rule policy. With this, religious suspicions entered public life, later leading communal violence. Like this, Hindu-Muslim clashes took a nasty turn and resulted in many communal clashes later, leading to untold miseries. As a result, when India was partitioned in 1947, the North India had to face a lot of communal violence. Lakhs of Hindus and Muslims died in these communal clashes. When India was celebrating its independence in New Delhi, Gandhiji was in Naukali and other places in meeting the victims, consoling them. Nehru, who was the first Prime Minister of independent India, could settle his administration on the basis of priority and could calm down the communal violence within months after independence. The evil violence that emerged during the communal violence made Nehru to think about forming a secular nation. These incidents helped India to adopt secular principles in its constitution. Though leaders like Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad and Khan Abdul Ghar Khan opposed the idea of Pakistan, they could not stop the partition of India. Even now, the communal clashes have continued. There are international angles to communal violence. The Constitution of India has accepted religion as the personal choice of the individual. It foresees a situation where India remains a secular country. The Indians need to understand this intention of the Constitution, live accordingly. Refugee Crisis. Soon after the partition, refugee crisis became a huge problem. During this period, millions of people tried to find future in either of the country. They had to leave their native places and move toward the place where people from their religion were a majority. Around 6 million refugees arrived in India. This crisis ballooned in the beginning, but by 1951, most of the refugees from West Pakistan were taken care of. But the crisis of East Pakistan, that is Bangladesh, continued for a long time. It was caught in severe communal violence soon after the partition. As a result, the refugees were arriving till 1971. The Bengal Vimochana movement, which was supported by India, could finally liberate the Bangladesh. The war resulted in arrival of 10 lakh refugees to India. They were helped by the government of India, governments of Tripura, Meghalaya and Assam to resettle them and find new hope of life in India. Since most of the refugees from Bangladesh knew Bengali, they attempted to settle in Bengal more. As a result, there was huge stress on the West Bengal. Moreover, during 1960s and 1970s, India itself faced economic crisis. Major famines destroyed our financial security. Still, India did not leave its humanitarian concern and tried to provide better refugee facilities for them. The people of Tibet had arrived in our country as refugees during Nehru time. According to one estimate, there are around 1,20,000 Tibetan refugees in India. In 1960, Government of Karnataka sanctioned 3,000 acres of land to Tibetan refugees at Bailkuppe, and now it has grown as one of major Tibetan settlement in India. In spite of all these problems, their arrival has enriched our cultural diversity. The problem of formation of new government of independence. When the independence was declared on August 15, 1947, an interim government was formed. Lord Mountbatten became the Governor-General of India. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India. On January 26, 1950, the Indian Constitution was adopted. With the implementation of the Constitution, Dr. Babu Rajendra Prasad became the first President of India. The Constitution declared India as a sovereign, democratic republic. Later, through 42nd Amendment of the Constitution, words secular and socialist were added in the year 1976. Government of India followed an independent foreign policy. India adopted parliamentary type of democracy. You know this, parliamentary democracy. The Constitution Drafting Committee studied various constitutions of the world and came to the conclusion that Parliament elected by the people should be the ultimate authority in governance. It rejected presidential type of democracy. Integration of princely states. There were 562 princely states when British left India. Apart from partitioning India, they had kept 3 options open for the remaining princely states. 1. Joining India. 2. Joining Pakistan. 3. Remaining independent. In this background, Government of India, through its Instrument of Accession, offered an opportunity for the princely states to join federal structure of India. It offered in return of accession revenue sharing based on the actual revenue of the state in the form of royalty. Apart from this, some special status were also accorded to the ruling kings. Later in 1971, these royalties and status were withdrawn. During the integration of Indian princely states, strong opposition came from Junagadh, Jammu and Kashmir, and Hyderabad states. Under the leadership of Vallabhbhai Patel, who is known as Iron Man of India, it was successful in integrating the princely states to Indian Federation. Junagadh. The Nawab of this princely state had signed the agreement to join the state of Pakistan. His citizens revolted against him and flooded the streets. The king fled from the kingdom. The Diwan requested Indian government to military to Junagadh to maintain law and order. Later, Junagadh joined Indian Federation in 1949. Hyderabad. This princely state was ruled by Nizam. He wanted to remain independent and refused to join the independent India. Meanwhile, under the leadership of communists, the farmers of the state revolted against the Nizam and Zamindars. The people, angry with cruel army called Razaks, which had the patronage of Nizam. The government of India sent its military to fight Hyderabad and defeated the Nizam and integrated Hyderabad into India in 1948. Vallabhbhai Patel could find a solution to this with his firm decision. Jammu and Kashmir. The king of Jammu and Kashmir, Hari Singh, decided to remain independent. Fearing that Kashmir may join the Indian Federation, Pakistan instigated the tribal Muslims to invade Kashmir. The tribal band of people occupied more area of Kashmir. Unless the king agrees to join India, the military of India could not enter Kashmir. Finally, on realizing the severity of the problem in hand, King Hari Singh agreed to join India in October 1947. Later, the Indian army attacked the invading tribal soldiers and drove them out of the valley. At this juncture, the issue was reported to UNO. One part of the Kashmir remained with Pakistan. India complained at UNO against Pakistan on this issue. UNO issued battle truce on January 1, 1949. The northeast part of Kashmir that was occupied by Pakistan continues to be with it, and it is called Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The accession of Jammu and Kashmir is different from all the other accessions. Pondicherry. Even after independence, the French had continued their hold over Pondicherry, Karikal, Mahe and Chandranagar. Many political parties like Congress, Communists and others wanted them to become part of India. As a result, all these parts got integrated in 1954. Pondicherry became Union Territory of India in 1963. Goa. A sustained movement was held to protest against the Portuguese occupation of Goa. Though they were ordered to vacate Goa, Portuguese brought more army from Africa and Europe and tried to consolidate their power over Goa. Satyagrahis from all over India entered Goa and declared the exit of Portuguese from Goa in 1955. The Indian military entered Goa and took over its administration. Goa had remained a union territory till 1987 and later became a state. Reorganization of states based on languages. The language-based formation of states was a demand present during British India also. After the independence of India, this demand became more and more severe. Both the British government and regional governments never ruled them using local language. In this background, formation of states based on languages was desired. After the death of Potti Sri Ramulu, who died after 54 days of hunger strike demanding for Vishalandra, the demand for language-based state reorganization went up. As a result, Andhra Pradesh was formed in 1953. In 1953, Reorganization of State Commission was formed. Mr. Fazal Ali became the president. K.M. Panikar and H.N. Kunjru became its members. Based on the report of this commission, State Reorganization Act was brought into effect. According to this act, 14 states and 6 union territories were formed. Kannada-speaking regions were part of various princely states. On October 14, 1947, Mysore state came into existence. The demand to integrate all these people into one state was prevalent. They had formed All Karnataka Rajya Nirmana Parishad and demanded for the major integration of Kannada-speaking world. Finally, in 1956, Vishal Mysore state came into existence. In 1973, it was named as Karnataka. Now there are 29 states and 7 union territories in India, including Delhi. Exercises. Fill in the blanks. Number 1. The British government's last Governor-General was dash. 2. India's first Home Minister was dash. 3. India's first President was dash. 4. Pondicherry became a union territory in the year dash. 5. State reorganization law was implemented in dash year. Next, discuss in groups and answer. 1. What were the problems faced in independent India? 2. How did the nation face refugee problem? 3. How was Pondicherry liberated from the French? Explain. 4. How was Goa liberated from Portuguese? 5. Explain the process of state reorganization based on language. Next, in the activity, draw a map of India and identify the states. In the project, 1. Make a list of capital cities and languages of each state in India. 2. Prepare a report of the cultural uniqueness of our neighboring states with the help of your teachers and internet.